Hi guys, my name is Danielle Pascente and you're listening to the Dynamic Lifestyle Podcast.
Danielle Pascente, how are you doing today?
Good.
So
you said it right.
I said it right. I was just going to say that because I literally came into this interview, I was like, how the hell do you pronounce it?
I know, it's rough.
And you said it was Italian.
Yeah, it's Italian, but people butcher it, so I'm glad you asked. And sometimes people don't ask and then it's like, Los Scenti.
And I've done that, I look like an idiot.
No, I never think people are idiots. My last name is pretty complicated.
Gotcha. So. Yeah. So no, thanks for clarifying that. I'm glad I got it right. And we're in your beautiful home here in Marina Del Rey. So thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming this way. I know that's a situation in LA. So thanks for driving.
You
were. It's 3:20. So you're battling a little traffic.
At 1 o'clock. So we made it here in like 40 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. So and then you are actually the first guest of 2020. On the podcast.
No way!
So I'm excited to have you.
Wow, I feel so honored. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're talking too a little bit about like 2019, just like before we started this, about like how it was kind of like a shit show.
Yeah.
How would you say that the first 2 weeks of like 2020 is going for you?
Oh, so good. So good because we came off, and I say we, my husband and I run our business together, but we came off such a crazy year that I was adamant about chilling the first 2 weeks. So I can't say we've done that much, but we've tried to get settled in the new place, chill, spend time together, and like build this foundation for what we want 2020 to look like. So it's nice not to have any business pressures at the moment. Could we put them on ourselves? Sure. But we're choosing not to in January. We're choosing to just kind of set the pace, chill it out, and enjoy.
Yeah, gotcha. So, and you guys the type to like kind of set out goals for like your business and stuff like that, like beginning of like 2020 and all that?
Yeah, and so I'm sure you guys do this with your business too, but the first week of January we sit down for like 2 to 3 hours and we just hammer out the calendar, what it looks like, when our fitness challenges are, what tour cities we want to hit, just different things that we're doing in business. We sit down, we hammer it out, we see what worked last year, what didn't work. We even go as far as to be like, hey, what annoyed you about something I did last year? And what are the things in business where you were just like, that annoyed me? And one of his was, I hate that you asked me to make a video 24 hours before you have to post it. And I was like, that's valid, right? Thank you for sharing. And then, I hit him with a couple things. And it was just this open, I love our January discussions because it's an open conversation where we can be brutally honest with each other, but know that it's for the betterment of our business. We hammer it out for probably 2-3 hours. And then we kind of delegate it out as we see fit.
Yeah, that's one thing we got to do, me and you, is what annoyed you.
Oh, you ain't going to get into this.
Chris.
Oh, I'm sure. And like being siblings, I can't even imagine. If it were my sister and I are best friends, but I just think about working with her and I'm like, she would literally hate me.
Gotcha. It's challenging. It's challenging, but it's rewarding.
Yeah, it definitely is. Absolutely. I mean, working in any capacity with family members, I think is such a special thing. I really do. Like you're building something together and you're doing it for your home and your family. So
exactly.
For sure.
Love it. Yeah. So Danielle, we like to kick off the show with what's called rapid dynamic questions.
Oh,
you ready for that?
I'm ready. I get nervous about this.
So we're here in Los Angeles, right? Marina Del Rey, but close enough. So you see all the billboards that you're driving by and stuff. So if you had an opportunity to have a billboard, what would it say and why?
Wow. This isn't rapid fire. This is like you want me to write a novel. Wow, I feel very stumped. I feel like I have to think about this. What would yours? I'm just curious. Like, what would yours say?
I would say break beliefs.
Break beliefs.
Okay. Yeah.
I would say that tough times don't last, but tough people do.
Tough people do.
That's good.
I think mine honestly would be movement is medicine.
Okay.
Because I truly believe that's so powerful, and it's something I just reiterate all the time in my communities. Movement is medicine.
It is.
Gotcha. Okay. I like that. Now, content-wise, consuming-wise, are you consuming audio? Are you like somebody that likes reading physical books, videos?
I consume audio and videos most, so I love podcasts, and I cannot read a book for the life of me. I really can't. I just can't get into it. I can't get into the pages. I can't read it.
Yeah. Is it like the lack of focus, or what do you think it is?
I think it reminds me of school.
Okay.
And I didn't, when I became an entrepreneur and when all these things opened up for all of us, it just really transitioned from hard books to video and photo and different ways we consume content. So books always remind me of school.
Gotcha.
And I didn't love being in school.
Yeah, got it. What's one skill that you really advocate for someone to learn?
Wow. How to be an entrepreneur.
Okay.
That skill is so underrated, and it's not being taught to our youth, and it bothers me. So I think if I had a child and I put them through schooling, I think I would be really particular that they were getting some business courses, like actual tangible business courses. Why are we learning math still? We have calculators. You know what I mean? Like, why aren't we learning about Instagram? Yeah. Why aren't we learning about ways to be an entrepreneur? Because I think that's so important, and it's much more important going into our world today and forward to learn even just basic technology.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, super important.
We do a whole damn segment on this.
Yeah.
What are 1 to 2 tips like for somebody to get shit done and just stay focused, to move the needle forward with stuff?
Laser focus. Really just keep your eyes on what you're going for and cut out all the noise. And by that I mean stop scrolling Instagram, stop scrolling stories, stop doing shit you don't want to do. Just focus on your goal and what you need to make it happen, and then reverse engineer it, right? Because you can't get from point A to Z without going through every other letter in the alphabet.
Right.
So I think what I would tell someone is laser focus is so important when you're building your business.
Yeah,
like that.
Love that. What is what's one thing that you fear right now?
I fear staying stagnant.
Okay.
I think it's easy to get comfortable in this business with the communities you have and that you've built, but I really want to grow and scale it much bigger. So I do fear staying in the same spot because it's comfortable and we make good money doing it, and I fear that, and I really fear hiring out. I should have had a team by now, and I don't. And I'm a type A perfectionist, so I think that does limit me. It holds me back from getting the things I really want, and that's something I'm working on in 2020.
Good.
That's
Good.
Yeah. And then, so I was going to say too, what is something that you would do profession-wise if you weren't like in the fitness industry right now? What would you be doing? Let's say you couldn't even think about fitness.
Yeah, this is wildly off topic, so get ready, guys. I love crime, everything. Like, my top 10 podcasts are crime/murder podcasts, so I always say I would be a crime investigator of some sort. It's always interested me. It's so far out of the fitness realm, but I just think it would be fun to investigate crimes, and especially ones that don't have an ending. You know, that still the person hasn't been found that killed someone.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Are you watching any shows right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So plenty. I mean, I don't have a ton of time to watch TV, but I love a good crime show.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, any crime thing on Netflix. Personally, right now, I've been watching You. I don't know.
It's such a good one.
It's so
creepy. Yeah.
It's so creepy, but it's so good. But I listen to a lot of murder podcasts specifically.
Okay.
So like Serial, S-Town, My Favorite Murder.
Okay.
There's 2 girls. They're really funny. I don't know if you guys are into any of this.
I like it. We're actually watching this show called The Outsider.
Oh, yeah. No, I've heard of it. I haven't watched it, but I've heard of it. So good.
So good. You'll love it.
It's only 2 episodes in. I'm like, gosh, I want the next one to come out already.
It's so easy to get hooked on stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's a good thing they're not like dripping it out like, all of them like right now. So you have to wait till like Sunday
because I
to watch the other ones.
binged You in, I don't know, 3 days. It's so creepy and so good.
Yeah. Okay, so you're off the hot seat.
Wow.
That wasn't too bad, right?
Ooh, I mean, I'm sweating a little bit. All right,
Danielle, I want to dig into more about kind of like your past and like kind of what got you here. So, so you're a multi-level athlete.
Yeah.
So how is that carried over to like, just being like in the fitness business and more importantly, an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I think being an athlete and growing up as an athlete, it just teaches you discipline in general. So you're really good about tapping into the mentality, tapping into the mental mindset you need to be an entrepreneur. And then you know what it's like to get shit done because you've had to practice your whole life for one competition. Right. So I definitely think it plays into it. But I think the life of an athlete and being an athlete, we had specific things set out for us to do. You show up to practice, you eat these foods, you perform, you go to a competition, and it's very cut and dry in a sense. Not cut and dry, it's not easy, but you know what you're supposed to do. Being an entrepreneur is like, you don't know what you're supposed to do. Yeah. You're learning it along the way, and so there's this frustration of coming from an athletic past saying, well, it's not all laid out for me, so what am I supposed to do? And so I think that's been the most humbling experience. But sports absolutely has given me discipline and has helped me to come into this career, because I always knew that if I wasn't going to be a professional athlete, I still wanted to help people find movement and find joy in exercise.
Okay. Yeah. And then just even like with like your upbringing with your family, were they just like really just like, Danielle, you have to go to school, like do the whole education thing, or did they push you to like pursue like entrepreneurism?
Yeah. So I'm 31. Okay. So I think setting an age and then sets the parents' age. It's like parents in our day were more about go to school, get a normal job, like Instagram, all that stuff didn't exist. Yeah. So I think the transition of that, when I told my mom I'm going to move to LA and be a sports model, she was like, huh? With your psychology degree and all this schooling, that's what you're going to do? And I was like, yeah, Mom, I got this. Moved to LA, had no money to my name. But I think it's so different today. And I think that though this wasn't the path I thought I'd take, it's definitely been rewarding, and it's made me learn so much more than I think I would have ever learned in a normal job, whatever that means. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I forget what the original question was.
Is there any regrets though? Like just like these past like 11 years, just going down this like path and stuff?
No regrets. Okay. I'm big about no regrets. I think every experience you have in life, you learn from it and you move forward. So I don't have any regrets. I was in an industry first when I moved out to LA. Sports modeling was my main job. Right. And I don't regret it. It gave me such a great platform. It taught me a lot, but it was something in my life that I could have gone on to do for years and years and years, and I think I would have been successful with it, but it wasn't fulfilling. So I really had to take a step back and say, hey, is this what you want to do for the next 10 years? And I think anyone in their 20s moving into 30s, you have these gut hits. Should I be doing this? Should I be doing something else? And you have to listen to them, because if you listen to the people around you, sometimes it could be your parents, it could be your agent. In my case, it could be whoever that's saying you should stick this out because you'll make a lot of money. Right. Sometimes it's about more than the money, and you really have to go where the passion lies and where you think that you'll get more fulfillment. And for me, it was kind of leaving that industry behind and going full-time into training.
Gotcha. Yeah. And then so like you were doing the sports modeling, and then how did you get like into the fitness industry? Like how long ago was that?
Yeah. So when I first moved out here was probably 10 years ago. Right. And I actually knew that I wanted to be a personal trainer. So I started working at a gym while I was doing the sports modeling stuff. And I honestly wasn't even sure why or how I fell into sports modeling. I think I came out to LA, someone saw me at the gym, made a comment like, oh, you should be a sports model. I said, that's a thing? I thought of modeling as, runway, super stick thin, I didn't think about it as, oh, I could be myself, an athlete, and get hired to work for companies. I never knew it existed. So when I found out it existed, and I could work for Nike or Reebok or Adidas or Under Armour, that was my dream. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wow, my 13-year-old self would pinch me for being on set right now with Under Armour or whatever. Yeah. So it was super cool to know that they were hiring these athletes for the shoots and you could actually work as one. Where my issue came into play was just more the body image thing. And I think it really set me up to have body image issues. And I think as much as they want to say, yes, they were hiring athletes, they still were looking for a certain body type, and you still had to kind of maintain a certain body fat percentage and weight if you wanted to get hired. And I think that's where growing up as an athlete, you fuel your body, you perform. It's not about a look. You're doing it to perform to the best of your ability. So it became about aesthetic and look, and that's what I didn't like about it. So I just wanted to be strong again and go into personal training. So then I went into personal training full time while I was a sports model. Then I took all my clients out of the gym to make more money, to pocket more money. So I took them all and I did house calls for years and years and years until we decided to go into the online business. Gotcha. So I made a great great living as a personal trainer, but you cap yourself out. You can only see so many people in a day. You guys know.
Yeah.
You can only see so many people in a day, and then we decided, let's take it online and reach, thousands, not 8 people.
Yeah. And was it like a big like break that you got like in between that time, like from transitioning, or do you think was it just really just kind of just putting in the work and the time and just building up your reputation and inspiring people, getting results? Like,
yeah, I think when I first started, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff wasn't a thing. So actually it never existed to even start building your platform online.
Right.
So it wasn't until probably 4 years into my training business that it became a thing. And even then it wasn't as big as it is now. Yeah. So when I was first training clients, it was a grind, and it was this thing that I did consistently, and I would come home very tired, and I was really tapping out all my sources for clients. It was just kind of like going from one to the next, and I never had time for myself. I think because I was a sports model, I definitely was in touch with companies that could raise me on a platform, whether it had been doing fitness videos for an online community of over 1 million plus subscribers or whatever. So I had opportunities to be on camera as a trainer that really helped to push forward my career. But at the end of the day, you have to close the deal. You have to have client retention. Yeah. And I showed up for my clients every single day, no matter what was going on. So I think that's how I built my business, and then taking them out of the gym was the smartest decision. Yeah. Anyone who's still in a gym training clients, you got to think about long term. Yeah, because when people are taking a percentage, I never liked it from the start, but I lasted literally a year in a gym before I was like, wait, I'm only making $60 off this $150 session.
Right.
So I got to a point though where I raised my rates. I did a lot of house calls. I was, charging $150, $175 per hour house calls. So that was good. And then I just wanted more. I wanted more for myself, and I wanted to reach more people.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you said that it's on your website where you say that you feel everybody has an inner athlete inside of them, right? I thought that was really, really cool. So can you expand on that?
Yeah, I think when I'm training clients, the biggest thing I hear is, I wasn't an athlete. I never played sports. This isn't for me. And my biggest thing as a trainer is, you're not an athlete. Maybe you weren't an athlete, but you are an athlete, and I will show you. I'll show you that you're an athlete. And I do. That period, end of story. Like, I show them all the things they can do that they didn't think they can do. And so many people come to me, they can't do basic movement patterns or exercise, but it's not until someone says, do it, okay, show me, okay, now we'll progress, and then they do it and they see, okay, I can. But I think people limit themselves, especially when it comes to exercise. Yeah. People say, I can't possibly do a squat jump, I can't possibly do a burpee, and I say, have you tried? And they say, well, no, because I can't. And I'm like, okay, so you're just telling yourself you can't before you actually execute. Exactly. So pulling the inner athlete out of everyone is truly what I stand by in my online community too. A lot of girls in the online community, or women that are looking for programs, are going to different resources, and we all kind of know of each other where women are getting workouts. And oftentimes I hear, we go to this person for this, we go to this person for this, we go to this person for this, and then they say, we go to Danielle when we want our asses handed to us. So that's my niche in the market, is I'm going to give you a bang for your buck with your workout. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to push you. So if you're working out with other trainers that aren't, that's cool. Use them for that. Come to me when you're ready to work hard and be pushed, because I will show you that athlete that's inside of you.
Yeah, and that's what's awesome, because you're breaking their beliefs, and that's why I said that's what I would have on the billboard, is break your limiting beliefs.
Yeah,
that's such a mindset thing. You know what I mean?
It's such a mindset thing. Yeah. It's incredible. Do you guys see that in your?
Absolutely. Even just like with personal trainers, just fitness enthusiasts that are like looking to build businesses. There are just so many like limiting beliefs. So it's just like peeling back a layer after layer to where it's like, damn, it's frustrating, but it's like, I get it. I was there.
Yeah.
It's just like, you need to recondition that.
I bet you see it a lot in the business part of it too, because people aren't willing to spend money and time on their business. And I know you guys have your courses, but it's like, you have to spend money to make money, guys.
Exactly. Yeah. So even just like with like all the experience that you've had with like coaching people, like what's like the most gratifying part about just, helping these people?
Yeah. Helping them, knowing that I've made a difference, getting the messages saying you've changed my life for reason A, B, and C. Honestly, I could make $0 and get messages like that every day and be so fulfilled.
Yeah.
When I know that I've changed someone's life, and not even just, here's my results, or I lost weight, or I lost a jean size, like, cool, that's great, but I get stories, you know, full stories of people who have grieved, of people who are dealing with chronic illnesses, chronic pain. To know that you're changing their life is truly the most rewarding part about what we do. And this, in 2019, we took it on the road and were able to meet some of our people in person. And it was like, I cried like a freaking baby after all the events. I held it together during the events, but it was like, it was so cool to meet everybody in person, because it's just such a cool experience. Online can be really isolating in a sense where you don't meet your clients. So I'm like DMing them all day and voice noting them and all this stuff, and to just see them in person and give them a hug it's priceless. I can't even describe it.
So let's talk about that, because I think that's really cool. So you guys did some stuff like on the road, or like events, or?
Yeah, we have been kind of playing around with if we wanted to take events on the road, and we've always done our flagship event in Scottsdale because that's where we're from. And it was a sure success. So talk about comfort. We were like, let's just stay in Arizona and LA. Stay in Arizona and LA for the next 5 years, and it'll be comfy, and everybody will come to our events. We'll get a great turnout. So for me, for ego reasons, I didn't want to take it on the road because I was honestly afraid one person would show up. I was like, nobody's going to come. You know, it's the limiting beliefs. You say to yourself, no one's going to come. And it was just the most ridiculous thing, because we've scaled and grown our online business to over thousands of women doing the program. So what makes me think they wouldn't show up? It's the craziest thought too, because they engage with me every day. We have a loyal, diehard following. So we chose DC, New York City, Scottsdale, and then we did an LA event too, but that was back early in 2019. But so they were amazing. We sold out all of them. We had over 100 people in New York City.
Wow.
Over 120 people in Arizona. So it was just these incredible events, incredible to meet the girls. And we added a Q&A session onto the workout just so that we could feel like we had a couple hours with them.
Right.
You know, and so my biggest tip to people is, if you're scared, you should probably do it. You know, and I know people hear that all the time, but the work that goes into events is insane. It drove me insane as a type A. There were so many things we had to do to ensure successful events. And I don't just want to throw shitty events. You know, I wanted them to be good and good first experiences. Not that you have to do this. Like I said, if you're thinking about something, just do it. You don't need to have all the logistics in place. But for me, it was important to have those in place. And I think people had a really good experience. And for us, we saw that we are capable of doing this. And we are capable of doing it in more cities than just 3.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You guys are just building all these like little tribes, like places and stuff, and it's awesome. So you guys definitely have more of these planned for this year.
Yeah, I can't give specific details, but I think my big goal was 20 cities in 2020. And of course I said that as this large goal to meet somewhere in between. So I think we will end up doing 10 cities is what I truly think we can do. If we get any more than that, good for us. 20 cities in 2020, I think it's a stretch. Wow. But I had to go big, and then, as I said, we'll scale it back. So, I think we're going to go for it. We'll see what happens.
Do it. You're going to be busy, but do it.
I know. That's why I told you I'm enjoying January, because we didn't have any commitments. So,
but it's such an awesome like journey, just like going through like the cities and like being a part of that. So that's
it's cool to travel. Have you guys traveled for your business?
We haven't yet. We just hosted workshops here in like SoCal.
Oh, yeah.
So I know like what goes into those things. Like they're only 4-hour workshops, you know, 1-day things, but it's so much work. Much work, you know.
It's a lot of moving parts.
It is.
That's what I'd say, is like there's only so much you can do until the day of the event, and then you feel like you're trying to balance 800 things at once.
But no, definitely. I mean, it's something we might just try to like pursue this year, you know. It's like, why not? You know, it's like I love traveling different cities, and it's like we have people, you know, East Coast and stuff. We don't go to the East Coast enough, so it's like maybe that's something that we should try.
You should.
Yeah, I mean, I
say
don't know.
go for
Eric
it.
doesn't shut up, so I might be like, I don't want to go.
I say you guys hit New York City. That's a
I've
good.
never been to New York, so yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot
Really?
of friends over
Yes.
New Jersey, like New York area, so it's like that might
Yeah,
be a
East Coast is a good stop. They'll show up.
good one. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Right
Yeah.
on.
So let's talk content creation, because that's another type of like limiting belief people
Yeah.
have, and I
Yeah.
kind of want to like
And
put
just
this-
the marketing aspect of it.
Yeah, I want to kind of like angle this around like the Fit Pro that's like looking to go online, right? So, let's talk first. Like, what was your limiting belief like starting like content creation when you went fully online? Right?
Yeah.
And then secondly, like, what is like a tip or something you can give someone to like really break those beliefs and like as far as content creation, because it's so important when you go online.
Totally. One of my limiting beliefs was just that nobody would buy it. I was used to training clients in person. It was very show up, train the client,
Right.
you're good, you retain them. Online, I just didn't know how I was going to reach people or who was going to buy this. That was my biggest limiting belief. And also, how were we going to do this? I don't have an email list. I don't have a website. I don't have an ebook. How are we going to do all this stuff? So the limiting belief comes from the fact that as a trainer, I wasn't taught all these things. I know how to do my craft, which is program safe and effective workouts for people, not figure out how to run WordPress. And oh, by the way, you might have 28 web crashes. And oh, by the way, your email list might disappear one day. Like all these things,
Right.
all these bumps we've hit along the way. So what I would say, tip-wise, is you gotta take action, and it's gonna be messy as fuck. I mean,
Well said.
seriously.
Yeah.
It's the most messy stuff we've ever had to deal with because we didn't know how to deal with it. And my husband would literally YouTube, anytime we had a problem, he would YouTube how to fix, because YouTube's this amazing place with
yeah.
all your answers,
Yeah.
and so is Google. And he would fix it, and that is how we did it for the first year, is like troubleshoot the shit out of everything because we didn't know what we were doing. And the first time we actually put a product on our website to sell in a commerce shop that was being sent by MailChimp and all these systems, it totally crashed, and it was such a disaster. And it's like you have to be willing to fail so many times over. Even to this day, 4.5 years into business, you would think we were comfortable with our systems. Systems fail.
Oh, yeah.
Systems just fail. It doesn't matter how tight you think they're locked, systems fail.
Yeah.
And the bigger your launches get, the more likely you are to have a system fail just based on sheer volume alone.
Yeah.
So, 4.5 years into this, we just had another launch where, this was recent, probably 5 months ago, where our entire site crashed on launch day for 2 hours, which is a long time when you announce something on Instagram in your mail list, you shoot this email out and nobody can access it. So, you hit road bumps, you figure out how to handle them when each of them comes up, because you will not be able to predict every problem. It's impossible. You will not be able to solve every problem yourself. It's impossible. So be ready to hire out, be ready to do the work, and be ready to get really uncomfortable with that messy action, because it's the only way things are going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
that.
I would even say too, just be ready to pivot.
Yep. That too.
Yeah.
And we've talked about pivots before, but I am so dedicated to pumping out workout programs that I get asked all the time, are you going to do a mastermind? Are you going to do a business thing? Are you going to tell people how to sell ebooks? And I'm like, you know what? I can't imagine doing that over what I'm doing. Helping thousands of women, I just need to pump more volume. And so I asked myself, would I rather work hard on pumping more volume, or would I rather just cut that business out completely and go the high ticket item route?
Right.
And it's this constant thing, but honestly, my heart pulls me to the masses. It pulls me to the women. It pulls me to these workouts. And so I have to listen to it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's such a good point that you brought that up too, because it's like there's shiny objects everywhere. It's like you get influenced by other people to go bigger or just like shift your business, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like that's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's like you said, it's like what your craft is, what your skill set is, and you would love it. You love impacting these ladies' lives. So it's just like why would you change that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's hard though. There's a lot of shiny objects and opportunities. And
For sure.
Yeah.
you just gotta streamline it and figure out how to make it work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even like when you're doing like your content, right? I love the videos you do, and you posted something like 5 days ago saying that you still get kind of like criticized or attacked and bullied and stuff. So like how do you overcome that? Because that's a lot. Like a lot of people's fears.
Yeah, I think any business you go into, especially in today's world, you're gonna have haters, you're gonna have trolls, you're gonna have people who don't believe in you, whatever. I always say use it as fuel to your fire.
Yeah.
And that has always been my motto from day one. Even when Instagram wasn't a thing, there were plenty of risks I took in my career. One I can think of specifically, before social media, is that I went to a modeling agency office. I'm not going to name names, but I went to this office with no appointment with the biggest agent in the city. Like, he was very well known. And I literally went there with no appointment. I got into the building because someone else buzzed in, got up to the floor, got up to the receptionist area, and I was like, hey, can I speak to blank? And they're like, do you have an appointment? And I said, no. I just want to talk to him. And they're like, we'll see if he's available, but you don't have an appointment, miss. So, and I just wanted to go there to be like, hey, I'm a person, look at my portfolio and sign me. Simple as that. I'm going to take the action, right? So it's like any business you go into, it's scary. It doesn't matter if there's social media or not. You're going to make scary decisions. There's going to be plenty of people who tell you, no, by the way, he sat there, criticized my entire portfolio and was like, get the fuck out of my office. And I will never forget that, because it fueled my fire to be like, listen, I will make this work. And I signed with an agency and I booked jobs left and right for all these companies he was also booking his models on. And I was like, you know what? He can see me in a magazine.
Right. Yeah.
And he'll see. And so anytime you have someone that's telling you can't do something, just truly use it as fuel. And in regards to the online haters and bullies world now, you're going to post content up. There's going to be people that don't like it. There's going to be people that comment on it. But at the end of the day, you have to focus on how many people are liking your content and how many people are having changed lives from your content. It typically far surpasses, unless you're super polarizing, far surpasses your haters.
Yeah.
You'll come in with 1, 2, 3 comments a month compared to what? 1,000 great ones?
Exactly.
So you got to keep it in check. You got to just know this person is upset. It's not your fault. It's out of your control. They're unhappy. That's what I say.
Exactly.
They're
and, I mean, thanks for sharing that story about like going to like the agent stuff, because that's just real world stuff. Like that's real stuff that happens every day, especially here in LA. So obviously you had thick skin.
Oh yeah.
You were just resilient about it. You're like, dude, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what he says. So it's like, where does that come from?
I've always had really thick skin, and it's kind of still a joke now. I think I have a low tolerance for bullshit.
Okay.
I do. I don't know where I got it from. I grew up without a dad. He passed when I was 6 years old, but I grew up with siblings, and so my siblings and I and my mom, it was just like we all had to be strong all the time. And I think that's where it comes from, is we figured things out as a family, and if there was a problem, we solved it, and we did it. And then as I grew up, I also just gained this sense of knowing my worth for everything I'm doing. And LA tests you to the core, right?
Spot on.
So you have to have a thick skin.
Yep.
And I don't think I came here with it being that thick. I think I had morals. I think I was grounded because my mom made me that way, and that's how our family was. But it wasn't ready. It wasn't ready for what LA threw at me.
Nobody's ready for it out here.
But you develop this thick skin, and mine got real thick in the last 4 years, just like freaking threw it up thick, where I don't give a fuck. Like, if a brand reaches out to me and they're like, oh, honey, you want to work for free, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I don't want to work for free. No, is that a thing?
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get there, because I think, as you said earlier, there are so many shiny objects, especially in this city. You have to be willing to say no to the shit that doesn't serve you. Truly, even if they pitch you this is the best thing ever. Everybody says this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
You just have to differentiate. Is this really the best thing ever? Is this really the best thing in my life right now? And if it's not, you have to be willing to say no relentlessly.
Yeah. And everybody out here is like, oh, I'm a somebody. I know this person. I could help you out with this. It's like such bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to give you like a fist pump for that. Just being resilient, because
that was spot on.
I'm all about that, being resilient. Like, literally, I have a tattoo on my wrist about it. I mean, I can relate with your father passing. Our father passed at the age of 18.
Oh, so wow, I'm sorry.
We've been through some shit, and it's like you have to toughen up.
Yeah.
It will make you tougher going through that journey. So I was like, man, I see where she gets it now.
Yeah, resilience is a huge thing, and I always tell people too, like the grieving process. I've lost way too many people close to me for the
Yeah.
age I'm at, and you guys have obviously
here.
lost, like anyone who's lost a parent knows resilience, but it leads you to believe that you can make it through anything, and also it reminds you of what's important at the end of the day. And so when you've been through that, you always just tap back into that and say, hey, remember when we got through the toughest year or two of our lives? And by the way, when you lose a parent, you grieve forever. You're not, it's never over, you know, but he would be so proud of you guys. And I always remember that too. For mine, I'm like, oh, he'd be so proud of me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that. I want to stick on still on kind of resiliency and just like relentlessness. So we're talking earlier before we kind of hit the on button that in 2019, like you were getting like kind of like from peers and stuff that 2019 was like kind of like a tough year, right? And then you had your ups and downs like with trademark issues and stuff like that. So what do you do as like an entrepreneur to kind of just like plow through that and just mindset wise and understand it like this isn't forever, it's temporary. Like it's a mind fuck and it's tough as hell, right? Even if it's a 1 or 2 months, it feels like it's an eternity, right? So how do you kind of like get through that?
I mean, you pinned it right there. I swear to God, my line for 2019 was, this is temporary, Danielle. This is temporary, Danielle. And I kept repeating it over and over to myself when I'd have like paralyzing anxiety attacks for what we were going through in our business. And I think it is easier said than done to believe that line, this is temporary, but it is true. And Matt and I this year, when we hit a lot of obstacles, we just kept reminding ourselves that this will come to an end. We just have to keep plowing through. And there were a lot of nights we didn't get sleep. There were a lot of days we felt depressed almost. And it just, coming out the other side, since we are done with that specific roadblock, what I could say is that is the one line that got us through. And fighting through that every day and just knowing you're going to be okay. This is nothing. This is just things people go through in business. And that almost goes back to what I said is you're going to hit so many roadblocks along the way. Learning how to deal with them when you're in it and not just laying down and throwing in the towel, because there was a lot of times this year I just said, you know what, maybe this isn't for us, which is so crazy, but I swear, as many times as I said this is temporary, I laid on the ground in a paralyzing state of anxiety saying, I'm done. I cannot give any more. So I'm glad we stuck it through. And what I would say is reach out to people. Reach out to people if you feel like you need help. So many people go through roadblocks that you think you're alone. You're not alone. People go through this stuff in business. Entrepreneurs go through really, really tough times. Reach out to the friends that you know are going to be there for you and who know your business. Some of my best friends have no idea what I do for a living because they're in a different world, right? They work different jobs. Reach out to your friends that do what you do. They will have the answers and support that you need.
100% spot on. And like, you know what's funny too is like with entrepreneurship, people don't understand. They always talk about like, oh, you need the IQ, you need to be super smart. It's like, it's the EQ, right? Because that is like the emotional resiliency to like get past these tough times. That's a true entrepreneur, right? You can be as smart as you totally want, but if you have low EQ, you're going to crumble like a piece of paper and just, you're not going to keep going. You know? That's
such a good point.
And I agree 100%. Like surround yourself with those like circle of friends that really, really like trust you, have your back, like have the best intentions, especially at those times, because those times are tough.
They are. And I think just the right friends, you know, like there's groups of friends for each thing you go through in life. And what I noticed is that some of my really good friends from college are just, you know, friends who have been friends forever. They didn't quite understand the capacity. And like, if I call them and tell them, they'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through that. And I was like, do you even is this a thing? But then I would call an entrepreneur and they'd be like, oh, fuck, dude, I'm so sorry. Like, let's troubleshoot this. You know, they could feel what you were going through. So tapping into those friends and having that circle is really important.
Absolutely. So I kind of want to stay on this subject a little bit because something I'm trying to do now, like in 2020, is like I'm big on themes. So one of my themes for 2020 is like raising my standards, just saying, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So my question is like, I'm really big on mindset. So what are you going to do in 2020 to just raise your standards with like, you know, the mindset type of stuff?
Yes. Mindset wise, I would like to get past a limiting belief personally that I can do everything myself. So I think I am in the mindset. I know. I'm in the mindset that we need to delegate things that we aren't good at. And even if it takes me all year to hire my first person, right? I'm going to show myself grace. Even if it takes me all year, I want the vision for 2020 to be grow, scale, delegate.
Yeah.
So I think those are like my 3 mindset words. And then I've always had a strong mindset, especially because I move my body, and movement really gives me that energy to be in a good mindset. So for me, it's typically my mindset is pretty spot on if I'm working out. So I need to tap into the things that maybe aren't comfortable for me, like hiring people out or adding someone to the team. That gives me makes me kind of crawl out of my skin. So I think I need to run for that a bit and challenge myself in that way.
Yeah, and I would honestly I would advocate to do that, because we've been down that road to where it's like we want to be the jack of all trades, like wear all the hats, and like you just can't do it.
You can't.
It's
impossible. If you're really truly scaling, it's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, we've made it possible, but we are working our asses off 24/7. You know?
Yeah.
You're still young.
No. But honestly, Matt's been getting gray hairs lately. Like, legit, I can see them. And he's like, it was 2019. He just keeps saying that because we worked so hard last year that he was like, it's the stress to
Oh, he's got like a short beers or a glass of wine every night.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Right on.
He loves IPAs. So he's like, we're like in the middle of a launch at like midnight, and he's like, give me an IPA.
Yeah, that's my kind of guy.
Yeah. I wish you could have met him. We'll all get together.
Yeah, we'll have some IPAs for sure.
Yeah.
So I always like to ask, like, what does your lifestyle kind of consist of? So don't hold back here. Like morning, like what's midday look like? How do you kind of shut it off? Like at the end of the day, like with all the noise, you know, like what's kind of like your morning routine like, all that stuff.
Yeah, so I'm really good. I have to say I'm proud of myself for my morning routine, and I wish I could take it into the night. It's something I'm working on because I'll kind of tell you how I work it. But in the morning I wake up and my alarm goes off, but I don't flip my phone over. So I just silence it, and I take my phone and I put it elsewhere for the first hour of every day. So I come out here, I stretch, I do like a 10-15 minute stretch sequence, kind of just get my mind right, make coffee, make breakfast, then I go into the desk, then I flip the phone, then I check emails. So I am adamant about taking time for myself before I even start with this. Because likely there is something on here that will either give me anxiety or think I have to go do this now. And I don't want that. Yeah. I don't want that right when I wake up, because it sets the tone for the day. Yep. When I'm ready to go and my mind's ready to go, bring it on. Yeah. You know, nothing can faze me. I'm ready to go.
You're ready to play offense.
Yeah, but if I'm not ready to go, and I've done this before where I'm like, I don't even know why I'm in a bad mood today, and Matt's like, did you stretch and do your thing? And I'm like, no, I didn't. And I know those days where it's like I'm just triggered. It doesn't matter what it is, I'm triggered, and I didn't take time for myself. So the morning routine I'm adamant about, and then I break it up. I chunk out work in the morning, so we work from roughly 8 to noon. Then at noon I take a break to work out. So I give myself about an hour and 15 minutes to work out and do my thing. Come back here, make lunch, then I batch more work from about 2 o'clock to 5:30. And when I batch my work, I'm working during this time. Like, I'm going pretty hard. So 2 to 5:30 I'll work, and then I go again for another night, either a walk, I'll listen to a podcast, I'll go back to the gym, some sort of movement. And then I get back here at 7, take a shower, make dinner, and work for maybe a couple more hours when Matt gets home, and we can just kind of go over the day.
Yeah.
So we love batching out our work and taking time for the movement, because sometimes if you're there for 7 to 8 hours at the computer, I can't do it.
Yeah,
I have to kind of break it up. And so those movement periods really help me. Why I say I'm not great about nighttime is because sometimes we get in this rhythm where we're working until midnight, and then we've just come back from working or the gym or whatever, and we're working from 8 to midnight. Sometimes I have a tough time shutting off Instagram. This is a type A tendency, but I hate seeing my DMs not empty.
Ah, okay.
So it depends what I've storied for the day or posted, but sometimes, some days it's like I feel like I can't catch up. And I keep going and I keep going and I keep going. And I'm like, and I'm sitting in the bedroom on the floor foam rolling. And Matt's like, will you just get into bed? And I say, no, not until I empty this. So that's something I'm going to work on for 2020, especially because he wants me to. He's like, get in the freaking bed. Like, I don't even get to say goodnight to you because you're foam rolling on the floor answering messages. So, but I will say my foam rolling routine is on point, like a full 30 minutes at night. But that's kind of how we do it. And then I also try to take one weekend day to shut down a bit.
Good.
I'm not always great at it, but even if it's just Sundays and we have to shoot a little content in the morning, then we'll shut it down for the rest of the day. So I just think that helps us reset. Otherwise, it just feels like Groundhog Day. You're waking up, you're doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it took us like 5 years to literally say, look, Sundays, no laptops. Like if you have to do maybe some stories or something like that, we'll do that. But no emails, no laptops, no getting back to prospects or clients.
You guys.
It was hard though.
So hard.
You still get that anxiety where you're sitting around watching a game and you just feel like you could be doing something, right? Yep. But it's so hard. But I definitely recommend it because the next day, Monday, you feel refreshed, your batteries are recharged, you're ready to play offense and go at it. You know?
It almost feels like it almost feels harder to stop working than it is to work sometimes.
Exactly.
And it's that discipline of saying, no, I'm not going to. Yeah. It's interesting for entrepreneurs. A lot of people have a tough time with that. Yeah. And it just makes me laugh because it's like, oh, is it really that hard to shut down work? And I'm like, actually it is. I'm missing this really important deal I'm about to make on a Sunday when no one's going to respond to me. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. So obviously being an entrepreneur takes a lot of sacrifice, right? You know that.
Yeah.
So what are you willing to sacrifice for a cost? And I want to use the analogy of like an athlete. You know how athletes, like let's say a pro boxer, right?
Yeah.
Just constantly taking hits to the head, right? They're sacrificing their health, their brain damage for a paycheck and to provide for their family. So what are you willing to sacrifice for a cost?
Wow, that's a deep one. Because I feel like just coming off the heels of 2019, there was a lot that I sacrificed, but there was a lot that I hated about what I sacrificed. And for me, I've always been adamant about I will drop everything for family. That's my bottom line. I don't care if I'm in the middle of a launch. I have been in the middle of a launch where I've had to drop stuff for family. So it's like my boundaries are really good with that, but with friends, they're not very good. And I will tell a friend, no, I won't even... Some of my friends I didn't even talk to all year. You know, that was my boundary. I was like, I don't have time to talk to my friends. But it's so stupid. It's stupid because we aren't promised this life. Right. These people mean something to us. And if anyone knows, it's people who have grieved the loss of someone. Yeah. And so it's almost like I lost my roots this last year. And I'm not willing to sacrifice friendships or family for money because it's not worth it to me. Like, those are the people that mean something to you and that your time isn't promised. Yeah. So I'm willing to do a whole lot. I'll sacrifice social gatherings, blah, 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 for me to work on my business. But I'm not willing to sacrifice friendships and family when they need me and when it's important. So what I've done is I've drawn the boundary to say, hey, if you wouldn't mind when we're communicating, if it is something that's important, can you just say, hey, Danielle, I need you. I need you to drop this. Because otherwise, I think what was happening in my brain is I was saying, I can't deal right now because I'm in the middle of a launch, so I can't deal with this phone call. Yeah. If I knew it was important, I would have picked it up, but I think I always assume it's not. They just want to chat. And it's a terrible assumption because there's been certain things I've missed out on, you know. I had a friend that she miscarried a baby and I missed that call and I ignored it or whatever I did, and I was just like, I could have been there for her. It really opened up my eyes to say, hey, you should be there for your friends and family, and I was for my family, but I think you get the gist.
I like that. Yeah, exactly. That's a big one because I'm big on that too. I mean, it's so easy to get isolated in your own little habitat, doing your own thing. It's like forget about the outside, like close friends, family, and it's like those are amazing people that you want to create memories and experiences with, right?
Yeah.
So you have to.
What's your guys's? Just curious.
No, I was just going to say to add on to that, like one of my things is this year is, I want to hit a certain, monthly goal, obviously with revenue. And I want to, the reward is bring my mom out, like, maybe every month or 2 months and just have her come stay out here because we don't go back and visit enough. It's only like an 8-hour drive, but it's not an excuse for we only see her holidays and maybe like 1 or 2 at a time. So, it's like to bring her out here, just like be with us, create more of those experiences, stuff like that. That's kind of my goal for 2020 because I know how easy it is just like brush a text message or a phone call like under the rug and be like, no, I'm focused, like this is my work block, like I can't fucking respond to anything. But it's kind of like, damn, like I don't know, it's hard to explain, because you're an entrepreneur, you want your goals and you're just in this mode and people don't understand, but at the same time, like you said, like there's other things that really are important.
Because I think the way I think about it is let's pretend tomorrow somebody wasn't here, whether it's yourself or someone else. Would that one extra email make a difference? Would that one extra podcast, would that one extra batch of content make a difference? And my answer is always no.
Yeah.
So I did carve out in 2019, despite our year, we carved out time for our families, and we both got Airbnbs for each of our families in different locations. And that was everything. Like, we took 5, 6, 7 days to spend with our families. And even though it was that once a year, then add the holidays, and that's twice a year where we get to have like a full experience or a full week together. So that was awesome. I highly recommend doing that.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. So before we ask the last question, I just want to take some time to say like thank you for like having us here at your beautiful home. This has been awesome, and just thank you for being just open and just like raw and just like authentic in yourself and just sharing your story and just everything. You know, and we got you a little gift where a bracelet says, you know, giver. Because I truly believe you're a giver. You're giving your talents, your gifts to your clients, inspiring so many lives and impacting so many lives. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you guys for having me and like your questions and just kind of bringing that out of me. I so appreciate it. You made it super comfortable.
I just wanted to let you know I echo that too. I don't want to.
He's like, you don't get the gift. Actually, you are not a giver.
He always beats me to that question. What does it mean to Danielle to live a dynamic lifestyle?
Doing it with love and just doing it unapologetically with love. You have to be passionate about what you do. So I think if you're living a dynamic lifestyle, you're doing things with love, with care, with giving back, but also something you're passionate about that you can keep going for years.
Love it. Love it. Powerful.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Truly appreciate it. So if you guys are a fitness professional, you guys are hungry, you guys are looking to get to the next level, you guys are looking to be shoulder to shoulder with other fitness professionals, make sure to click the link in the description box and you guys can join our private and free exclusive Facebook group to be shoulder to shoulder with other fitness professionals. And while you're at it, make sure to hit the subscribe button.